Those updates on this weekend's first alert weather days and what we can expect as we prepare to see winter weather across central Alabama.
And we're talking about the science behind the radar and how rain can correlate to the weight of snow.
Plus, we're taking you across the country to California, where devastating wildfires are being fueled by strong winds.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And welcome into Weather Extra. And I've got to ask Lauren and Tania, are you tired of looking at weather models, forecast guidance? It's like, when's the next guidance coming out?
Oh my gosh.
I know. Yeah, it's been a lot.
Yeah, we call it model madness, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And winter madness too. I don't know. It's just a lot going on.
Yeah, we got some cold weather to talk about. And listen, this is going to be a setup here where I think the more widespread impacts are going to happen during the early first part of the day.
Yes.
And then there will be some rising above freezing during the mid part of the day. And then again at night, we'll have to watch out for some trouble spots again. And that's what we're going to get into right now. The next big thing, try to break down what we know right now for this first alert weather day that is declared now for Friday and into Saturday. And listen, every location, as we've been saying here, we'll see a little bit of wintry precipitation. I think the greatest chance for more widespread impacts again early on Friday based on what we're seeing today and the way these models have trended. So here we go. Some of the key messages on this. We'll see a wintry mix that begins late tomorrow night. So if you have plans through the evening tomorrow, you'll be in fine shape. This happens after midnight and starts in West Alabama, probably not reaching places from Coleman, Birmingham, point south until like 5, 6 o'clock Friday morning. And then we could see by the afternoon a band of snow that sets up near or north of the 278 corridor. And then there's a chance that we could see some leftover freezing rain continue into the afternoon across far eastern areas. Some of that air could get trapped over East Alabama, and that may end up causing some ice accumulation. We'll need to watch out for that during the afternoon. And then everybody could see some snow showers and some flurries again during the overnight. So even if it comes down heavily early Friday, we start to see some accumulation, and we get a little rain and it melts. Maybe another dusting coming back Friday night, but it's not an all-day snow for every location. The way this is trending, the way the low is tracking, looks like those Saturday morning any residual moisture could end up causing some icy patches, but that moisture starting to lift in, and here it is. You can start to see that snow way west of Alabama over into Texas. This really won't reach us again until late tomorrow night. You can see that accumulation of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. High impacts Friday morning, but then those impacts become more limited by midday. As for a lot of areas, temperatures rise above freezing. You can see to the north snow and wintry mix, and you've probably been seeing a lot of pink on the maps here lately. All that means is freezing rain, sleet, snow, just a wintry mix of all possibilities. And then what happens by Friday night, again during the evening, some of those snow showers and flurries could wrap in from the north. We could see some additional accumulations again as we go into the early morning hours. But before we get there, we've got some really cold weather to talk about, and we'll have that for you coming up for early tomorrow morning. Let's head over now to Lauren.
Thanks, Wes. Well, across the country, hurricane-force wind gusts fueling 4 wildfires and pushing fire crews to their limits in Los Angeles County. More than 260,000 people are under evacuation notice. Check out these scenes from the fires in California. The Governor Gavin Newsom deploying National Guard troops to help with the response. The largest of the 4, the Palisades fire, has already destroyed at least 1,000 buildings and is the most destructive fire in LA County history, burning more than 15,000 acres. 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts have strained firefighting efforts, grounding aircraft used to drop flame retardant. Well, what is one thing that is causing these wildfires to be so significant? We have to think about the Santa Ana winds. These are winds that blow down the mountain range in California to the coast. And so you can see right now as we look at current wind speeds, we've got winds on the order of, these are potential wind speeds up to 25, 30 miles per hour. But you get these winds that rapidly come down the mountain, and you already have a situation around Los Angeles where the area has dry fuel in place. So you have a lot of dry ground that can be also brush as well, any type of leaves around, but you will have dry soil. And then the relative humidity, how much moisture the air can hold, is very low. So you've got dry air, you've got dry fuel, and then you have these potent winds that are blowing off of the mountain. They're moving down slope towards Los Angeles. That is just exacerbating an already very dangerous situation. So unfortunately, with the situation that we're seeing in Los Angeles, it's just going to continue to be really potent as these winds continue to fuel these fires. And unfortunately, that's why we've been seeing these devastating images out of California, Tania.
Yeah, Lauren, and listen, back here at home, that same system is bringing us this winter weather, right? And we're here to help you get your home ready to keep you warm while also saving some money in the process. Leonard Cassie with Spire emphasizing the importance of checking and replacing furnace filters regularly and ensuring nothing is getting in the way of your furnace that could create a hazard. He also advises clearing any vents that supply heat to your home. And if you're using a gas generator, never run it inside your home or garage. Both are fire and carbon monoxide hazards. Another critical step is to ensure your home is tightly sealed to keep in that heat.
You want to make sure that if you have any draftiness coming through, like window sills or a seal in the wall, try your best to seal those cracks up. That way you can be as energy efficient with your home heating during this time period as well. It also helps the impact on customer bills. If you can kind of close all those cracks off, obviously you don't have to use as much energy to heat up your home. So you want to focus on those areas as well.
And Casey also suggests that insulating your pipes and opening cabinets to allow warm air to circulate around them. This helps preventing pipes from freezing and bursting during these extremely cold conditions. Well, just like the rest of us, crews with Jefferson County are preparing for the winter weather by making sure their sanding trucks are ready to hit the roads to make it safer to drive once the system has passed. Your reporter Jillian Brooks joins us with what you need to know if you have to drive in this winter weather.
I've been here 20 years. I've seen it about all. Well, but we're ready. We're prepared.
Planning for a winter storm is nothing new for Michael Giesling.
Let's just say if it comes in at 1 o'clock, we'll have people come in maybe around 11 o'clock, make sure everything's ready, the trucks are ready to go, warmed up, and then we'll have supervisors going out and checking the area, the roadways, and see which areas we need to tackle first.
Each truck carries 18 tons of sand. That's then thrown onto the roads after the snow, sleet, or ice has fallen.
You don't want to pre-sand before, because if the snow and ice hits afterwards, all it's going to do is freeze the sand, and so you have to go back and re-sand those roads.
His message to drivers:
just stay home, stay off the roads.
Crews drive down the middle of the road so they can tackle both sides at once, covering more streets in a shorter amount of time. If it keeps snowing, they will go back for a second pass.
And once people get out on the roads, that sand starts to push away, then we might have to go back out various times.
Jefferson County will work with local law enforcement to find out what the roads need and what roads they need to start with. So what exactly could we potentially expect with this system if temperatures end up warmer or colder? Meteorologist Lauren Linehan is going to bring the weather lowdown about those different scenarios we could possibly see. Lauren.
Yeah, Tania. So you look like you're like, all right, tell me what you're thinking.
Come on over there.
So honestly, let's be frank with you. Winter weather forecasting in Alabama is very complicated. It's complicated anywhere, but especially because we have the Gulf of Mexico to our south. And a lot of times when you have the Gulf of Mexico involved, it can advect warm, humid air farther northward. And if you get that involved with an already very cold air mass, sometimes you can see the possibility of freezing rain or sleet developing. But it's a very difficult thing to forecast. So what I wanted to show you here is the best case scenario. If you're a snow lover, it may not be the best case scenario, but this would limit impacts. You see, on Friday morning, we could see the possibility of temperatures, yes, near freezing, but a lot of spots would still be above freezing. And if you see a situation where that warm air moves in earlier and it comes through a lot of the atmospheric column, because remember, in order to get sleet and freezing rain, you have to have a little layer of warm air where a snowflake can melt as it comes out of the cloud. But what if the entire column column of air is warm, and warm relatively, right? If we look at upper 30s, that to us isn't very warm in Alabama, but it is when it comes to what type of precipitation falls to the ground. So we could see a situation where that warmer air really takes over and it suppresses that ability for that cold air to have an impact. So you could see a situation where there's all rain. But what would the worst case scenario be? Well, you have a situation where that warm air just can't get far enough north to have an impact. So you have a snowflake falling from the cloud and it gets all the way down to the surface and it remains as snow because it's not impacted as warm air. So that could be a situation where we see the possibility of it overperforming. And you can get that too when you have really heavy precipitation and you get a process called evaporative cooling. That allows more complicated cooling in the atmosphere and it's stronger, so that allows that snowflake to be even more compact as it makes it to the ground. Well, the city of Birmingham is opening warming stations during this potential for severe cold. The Jimmy Hale mission is relocating to the mission's former thrift store building starting tonight, located at 1569 Cooper Hill Road, Birmingham, Alabama. 34210. This station will also be open continuously starting Thursday and lasting until Sunday. If you would like to donate, officials say they need blankets, fresh fruit, paper plates, napkins, or flatware, and soft breakfast bars or snacks. While still ahead, we continue talking about the chilly conditions expected for the rest of your evening and how schools are preparing to transport in the middle of winter weather.
Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Tania Michelle here. We're looking at the wind chill because it is cold out there, but it feels colder when you incorporate the slightest breeze. So here's a quick look at how it could feel right now. We're seeing temperatures easily feeling like the 20s and low 30s across central Alabama, but that's nothing compared to late tonight and early tomorrow morning. So here's a quick look at Thursday morning. Feel like temps. We're seeing low teens, maybe feeling like 11 degrees in Clay County, 23 in Tuscaloosa, 20 in Marion County, 21 in Jefferson, 19 in St. Clair County. If that's not cold to you, I don't know what is. So please make sure you are layered up with the hats, the gloves, the scarves, all of it, the boots, and those extra socks. If your kids have to go to school tomorrow, double layer them. Lauren's going to have a quick look, though, at what that bus stop forecast might entail.
I would honestly say, Tania, we just need to take a page out of Russell's book because, I mean, he's got it going on right there. You got to make sure you have all that winter weather regalia. So be like Russell, bundle up before that bus stop forecast in the morning because remember, it's not just about the fact that, oh my goodness, we could see winter precipitation, maybe snow on Friday. Cool. It's still going to be ridiculously cold in the morning, right? Tania was just showing us those bitter wind chills. So the bus stop forecast in the morning, the kids won't have to be dealing with snow. It'll be sunny, but it's not going to be very warm sunshine. So you'll get that vitamin D, but it ain't going to do much. So you start off the morning with temperatures in the low 20s, even teens in some spots. And remember, when you factor in that little bit of a breeze, it could make it feel worse. And then as we progress throughout the day, warming up into the low 40s. And by tomorrow afternoon, the kids are going to want to hold on to those low 40s because they're going to be long gone by the time we get into Friday. Well, this comes as Etowah County school bus drivers and maintenance department employees are preparing now to transport kids safely to and from school. Your East Alabama reporter Reggie Kyle joins us after talking with the transportation director about ensuring those buses are ready.
Director Jerry Sparks with Etowah County Bus Transportation tells me they're ready and prepared for the cold weather. He says that's why yesterday was considered a professional development day for his department. Now, bus drivers cranked up their buses, making sure the equipment was working properly. Maintenance crews went over pre-trip safety checks that included checking all the fluids, tire pressure, and listening for strong engine performance. Etowah County School Superintendent Dr. Alan Cosby says with the county running 100 school buses per day on various routes throughout the county, Having a strong maintenance department is important for the safety of the students.
In the event of icy roads, in the event of adverse weather conditions, we will look at the possibility of either delaying school or dismissing school altogether, because the safety of our students is #1 priority.
The cold weather on the batteries are detrimental for those, so we try to stay up on those, and also the engines and engine blocks with the coolant level. It needs to be, at a normal rate.
Now, earlier this afternoon, Dr. Alan Cosby made the decision to close all Etowah County schools on Friday due to the winter weather. We'll have complete coverage on our WBRC First Alert weather app. Your reporter in Etowah County, I'm Reggie Kyle for WBRC 6 News on your side.
All right, time for our First Alert forecast. Winter storm watch is in effect across our area. The Weather Service may upgrade to a winter weather advisory. That is an upgrade, or a winter storm warning. We'll wait and see what happens there. Bottom line on this, everybody's going to see some icy weather possibilities early Friday morning. Tomorrow morning, no ice expected, but it's going to feel ice cold. Look at these temperatures. This is going to be the coldest morning all week, with lows down into the teens, as low as 17 in some areas. So plan for a hard freeze to start the day. Thankfully, we don't have this stuff moving in early tomorrow morning. But as we go into the day, we will warm up into the 40s by the afternoon and evening, and then the temperature drops tomorrow night close to the freezing point. So here's a look at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Still no issues. Through the early morning on Friday, 1:30 to 2 o'clock, we start to see maybe a few sleet pellets and some snowflakes falling across West Alabama. That's going to pick up as we go to 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. We'll we'll have a brief burst of snow and sleet and freezing rain, and that could lead to some accumulations. A quick, we'll see the rooftops, a quick coating happen there early in the day, some of the grassy surfaces, exposed surfaces, and then notice the surface temperatures right at freezing to the north and east. We could end up, notice Birmingham right around 32 through 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Those bridges, overpasses, elevated surfaces, we will have a risk for some slippery travel, even as far south as Clanton, showing 31. With that temperature at freezing, that's a critical 32-degree mark, we can have some problems. But notice during the day, we start to see temperatures just above freezing and maybe a transition over to rain. And I'm afraid some cold air may get trapped in across East Alabama and may continue that freezing rain risk during the afternoon. But even though we may see a transition, even for areas to the north, where we'll probably end up with some decent snow accumulations, it looks like by the evening, whatever moisture's left, we could have some leftover snow flurries and snow showers as we go into the day. I think still there's a chance in there either the morning or evening we could end up with 1 to 2 inches of snow, perhaps as far south as that I-20 corridor, but some higher totals possible, of course, in areas north. It's more of a wet snow, which means if it was more of a powdery snow, we would see much higher accumulations. But meteorologist Matt Daniel joins us now with the Weather Extra on snow ratio, speaking of that, and how that plays into rainfall totals.
So we're talking about this winter storm for Friday, but let's think about it with a little bit of science. Let's just say hypothetically this system moved through, there was no cold air, and it just fell as rain. How much rain will we see? Well, this is the estimate. A lot of the models are saying roughly about 3/4 to maybe 1/4 or 1.25 inches. So about 1 inch or so is how much we're looking at if all the preset falls as rain. This is important because we need to know how much liquid that's going to fall to determine how much snow is possible. Well, we're thinking this is going to, based on temperatures being sort of in that marginal risk, this is going to be some wet, heavy snow, which means when we look at snow ratios, it's a 5-to-1 ratio. Typically, when you get snow events, it's 10-to-1. What does that even mean? Well, 5-to-1 means if you have 1 inch of liquid falling from the sky and it all falls as snow, at the end of the day, if it adds up on the ground, you're going to get roughly about 5 inches of snow on the ground. If it was 10-to-1, if we had 1 inch of liquid, it would roughly be about 10 inches of snow. So this is in a way sort of like our maximum amount of snow that we could probably see if the entire event was just falling as snow. But as you know, that's not always the case. So when it comes to those snow ratios, so for instance, 1 inch of water equals how much? So temperatures are usually marginal, so about 34 degrees or so. That can give you about, like I said, 5 inches of rain. And for wet snow, it weighs even more. So if it adds up on your roof, on the top of your car, it can weigh about 20 pounds per cubic feet. If we have 30-degree temperatures and it's a 10-to-1 ratio, you can get as much as 10 inches of snow, which can weigh a little bit less, about 10 pounds per cubic feet. And if it's for way up north and it's just super cold outside and we're talking about temperatures in the teens, it can be a 20-to-1 ratio. So if you get 1 inch of liquid falling, you can get up to 20 inches of snow. And that's the stuff you usually see farther up north, let's say like Buffalo, New York, when you get some of that lake effect, lots of dry air aloft, and that can create those big snow totals. So it weighs a lot less. So it's important when it comes to snow, especially since it's wet snow, if it develops and falls, it's actually good for making snowballs and snowmen and all that kind of stuff, but it is pretty heavy. So the next day, if you are out and about and it's safe to drive, make sure you clean out the snow on the top of your roof of your vehicles, because as the sun comes out, things start to thaw and you're driving, that heavy snow is going to fall off the roof of your car and it could hit and cause some issues. So make sure after the effect, if you do have some snow, note it's going to be wet, it's going to be a little bit heavier. Good idea to clean off the roof of your vehicle before you're out and about. Otherwise, it's going to be flying away and it can cause some issues for those behind you. So just be mindful of it. But we're going to be paying close attention. Obviously, this event is not just all snow. There's a mixture of freezing rain, sleet, and just a cold rain. And that's going to probably make those totals go down a bit, especially for areas along and south of I-20. We'll keep you updated over the next couple of days.
All right, we got the chill out there tonight, and of course, all eyes on Friday morning. Still looks like some winter weather possible.
Yeah, it's just a matter of what is it actually going to be once it gets to the ground. So I know you guys are going to be looking at the latest data tonight.
Yeah, we're just hoping for the best travel conditions for all of our viewers out there later this week.
Yeah, be prepared for some impacts. First Alert Weather Day coming up Friday. We'll have the latest for you first at 9.